What's up, everybody? It's Joey G. Just got home. Little just had to shoot out somewhere. I was down at the convention center, trying to do some things for some indie promotion in Philadelphia. Just trying to, trying to set up the ring or do something, get backstage or do something. I was down there, and guess what? At the convention center. It's a very small building in Center City, Philadelphia, and I saw Buff Bagwell, Marcus Alexander Bagwell, and nice dude. Talked to him. I mean, cool ass cat. You know what I mean? Buff. He had his hat. Showed his hat, and it's pretty cool. I got his number. He got my stuff. I showed him some of my videos, and I said, I ain't got a lot of views. And he told me, straight up, he said, you do got, you voice your opinion, that's the thing. And, he told me, gave me some pointers, and I do how I drift off into other conversations or other topics sometimes when I'm supposed to just be on one topic. I'll go on to something else. The Joey G fans know that. But, great guy, Buff Bagwell. You could tell in the face he looks older, though. I like Buff Bagwell. I always thought he was a good addition to the NWO. You know what I mean? It's a Thug Life shirt, but from far away could be NWO for life. But Buff Bagwell was a good addition to the NWO. He was telling me about them days, and I told him how the Wolfpack, were all the clique I love, and I said Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, and Sean Waltman. Three of my favorite wrestlers, and he said he knew all three. He was cool with all three. He said he had his in and outs with Kevin Nash. He said Kev's a businessman, a very, very good businessman. And he said that, WCW, he literally said that. He said was going nowhere. He said if Hall and Nash would have never jumped, he said even with Nitro and Luger making that surprise return and Bischoff giving the ratings away, they had a nice, format, but WWE was still winning. They were still the A show, even though WCW had Hogan, had Savage. But that Dungeon of Doom shit and the Lockless Monster, the best thing they had was they should have built up, if Hall and Nash didn't come, build up Hogan and the Giant and have that at your Starrcade. Instead, the Giant's first match was as I said before and a million times, Halloween Havoc 95, and the Giant's first match, he became the World Heavyweight Champion. That night, he fell off the roof of the Cobo Center right next to the Joe in Detroit, Michigan. I like Detroit, so I was only there once at a rave back in '99. But anyway, that's another story. But yeah, Buff was cool. We were talking about he got 1991, Superstar of the Year. I told him because I remember I had that WCW magazine. And I said, I remember I watched WCW long before Hogan, long before Nitro got on the air. I was watching WCW when it was the NWA and the UWF just coming in. That's where JR came from because Bill Watts owned UWF and JR was his friend and he was the... Back then I remember saying, this guy is good at play-by-play. And then when they had him and Shivani in there and they would have Shivani calling the matches and JR kind of to the side or he wouldn't be out there, I'd be like, Shivani's alright, but that dude, that back then I would say Texas. I was younger. I would say that Texas sounding dude, that Southern dude, he's good, man. Why don't they have him in there? He's a really good... I even thought that about JR. And this is, 87? 87, I was going into 6th grade. Yeah, I was going into 6th grade in 87. Or maybe I was going into 7th grade. But I've been following wrestling since 2nd grade. And I got a very good memory. The genius. You know what I'm saying? That's why I call myself that. That's not a cocky thing. That's the real deal, the genius. But, like I said, Buff Bagwell, he was 21. He was 21 in 1991. So he didn't say, I didn't ask his age. And I was adding up his age on my way home in my head. And he's what? So if he was 21 in 1991, he was 41 in 2011. That was almost 5 years ago. So he's going on 46 years old. I can remember when him and Scotty, was Scotty Riggs? Was that his name? Scotty Riggs? Yeah, they were the American males. Buff Bagwell had that look. And if it was, I know my talent. And if I was Vince McMahon, He's another guy that Bret Hart and Scott Hall and Kevin Nash, when they were in there, said, you should bring this dude in. This guy's a good wrestler. Just like Bret Hart told Vince McMahon in 1992, you should try to get Steve Austin up here. He told Vince back then. Now, can you imagine that? I mean, but like, for real, if Hall and Nash never, this is what Buff Bagwell told me, if Hall and Nash never would have made that jump, and then Waltman followed, you know what I mean? Originally, in the whole story, it was Waltman's idea. He said, he told Scott Hall back in 1995, Eric, I saw Eric Bischoff at the airport somewhere in Georgia. They were going to a house show, and Pac was by himself, and he said, I saw Eric Bischoff, and he just said, when your contract runs out, you hear things through the wrestling vine, vine, meaning, the wrestling circle, what's going on with the other company, you always hear. Like WCW would hear what's going on with WWE, WWE would hear what's going on with WCW. Mark Bagwell just told me all this, And I wish I would have had this on me, because I would have been great to do it. Oh man, the views I would get. But this is no bullshit. And he just said that with them coming in, they saved WCW. They did. He said, and that's true. Eric Bischoff in the beginning really did. 96, the thing was with that, Buff Bagwell said, he was bitter at Vince McMahon, one, for buying out the AWA, and to this day, Eric Bischoff and Greg Gagne are like best friends, and Vern Gagne is like a father to Eric Bischoff. And Eric always had that grudge, all right, they took Vern and the AWA, where Eric Bischoff started as an announcer for the AWA, getting, like Brian Pillman said, at Cyber, when he debuted in ECW, he was Vern Gagne's coffee boy, the 90s whiz kid, He's friends with Eric Bischoff, is good friends with the dude from the Wonder Years. What's his name? Jason Garfield. He's always a dickhead in every movie, but in real life, that's one of Eric Bischoff's real good friends, along with DDP, who lives right down, well, he used to, when they worked in WCW together. And I think Eric Bischoff still does live right, it's in North Carolina somewhere, and they live right, they're neighbors, Bischoff and DDP. But what Mark Bagwell said, he just said that with Hall and Nash coming in, they did a lot, because in the beginning, it was good because Eric didn't know what to do with them. He didn't know, I can't call these guys Diesel and Razor. I'm not going to go back. Kevin Nash said from the, I'm not going back to no Vinny Vegas character, and Scott Hall wasn't going back to being the Diamond Stud or anything like that. And I wanted them to say, let us use our real names. Sean Waltman didn't. He went with Six-Pac because he was the sixth member. But they came in and they changed everything around. And, Mark Bagwell said Scott Hall's a genius. Like everybody said, when Scott Hall is in the right frame of mind, even when he's drunk, they said, or he's on a bunch of Zen, he just has ideas. And he said, especially when he smokes weed, they said, because his mind gets going and he thinks of some great angles. I go on and on and on the WWE stuff I heard when he was there in the beginning as Razor Ramon, him and Kev came out with that thing. Remember when Sean fell and they really thought he was out of it, and the announcers, Vince, everybody, and Scott was well, we need commentating, and Kev was Kevin Nash and Scott Hall were no commentating, make it look real, no. And I think back then that was the start when the Monday Night War started. People say the Attitude Era really didn't start till 97. I say when the Monday Night War started, when you saw Lex Luger walk out in the inaugural Nitro, that was the start of the Attitude Era and the Monday Night War. Because then you saw Vince McMahon had the chance. After a year of going through what he went through, in the beginning wasn't bad. Maybe the first 3 Nitros might have beat Raw. Not bad. You know what I mean? I did a whole trilogy on them. It's on here, Raw vs. Nitro. Check it out. It's good. It's real, and it's great. Joey G, NWO for life. But, Hall and Nash, basically, and Sean Waltman with DiBiase. If you remember 96, Jeff Jarrett, Roddy Piper, they all came over. So many people came over, and it's just because Eric Bischoff is a genius. I do believe that, but he also had Ted Turner's checkbook that helped him a lot along the way. But I do believe Eric Bischoff is a genius. And yes, I would work for him, or I would hire him to work for me. You know, God willing, I ever get a company, or I start a company, I would hire Eric Bischoff in a second. I don't know doing what, but I would hire him. He is a genius. Yes, he is. And Vince Russo, as I always say, Paul Heyman, Vince McMahon, Joey Styles, the great. In my opinion, Joey Styles, the greatest. Not just because I'm ECW in Philadelphia. Joey Styles is the greatest play-by-play announcer of all time. You don't want to know why? Because, and I told Mark Bagwell this, he didn't agree with me. He thinks Jim Ross is. But I said, Joey Styles single-handedly, in the beginning of ECW for 4 years, called pay-per-views, the first couple of ECW pay-per-views, the big shows in ECW, all by himself, and he killed it. Then Jim Ross, and then Gordon Solie, because I really wasn't around during the Gordon Solie era, but I've heard stuff. I watched the oldie stuff. You guys know that. Got a Q&A with Joey G tonight. I got a lot of questions that were on my T-Max, on his podcast. Some people left. He wrote them down, so I'm going to be answering them tonight. He's going to fax me over some stuff or email me the questions, and I'm going to answer them on the air. Tonight will be very interesting. I'll be doing some SmackDown excerpts. TGIF, thank God, it's Friday. Yeah. But yeah, Joey G, I met Mark Bagwell, Buff Bagwell. He's going to be looking out for me. He said he's going to put in a good word for me. He took my number. I took his. You know what I mean? And there really wasn't no autograph session. He was just a pretty cool dude. You know what I mean? But a little more on that tonight. But Q&A with Joey G tonight. And I will be doing SmackDown excerpts, especially with the Divas. You know I love the Divas and Nikki Bella. I love you, baby. And to all the chicks out there I know, what's up? What's going on? Big shout outs to Mikey Noor, Stacy, Click Chick, you know what's up, Charlie O'Neill, what's up, Buddha Guns, H Diesel, and it's Joey G, going to the top, the genius, the creative mind, Joey Crack. Once you go Joey Crack, you never go back. This is Joey G. I'll be at you tonight with a little Q&A, see what these people, I hope they ain't stupid questions, I hope they're good questions, but a lot of that, a lot on the Royal Rumble tomorrow. A lot tonight on the Royal Rumble. And tomorrow, hopefully doing a big show. No pun intended to the big show, the wrestler, but Joey G's doing a big show tomorrow, as he always does the big Saturday show. But I'll be at you tonight with a little Q&A before SmackDown. And like I said, you'll be seeing clips and commentary from Joey G during SmackDown. This is Joey G, and I'll see you tonight. Before that, have a nice afternoon and pre-evening, and I will see you during the pre-evening, but have a nice afternoon. This is Joey G, NWO for life. Peace. See you, dickheads.